So many people connect with someone or go on a date and they're still left wondering, do they actually like me? And I think that specific question, that uncertainty, is one of the most confusing feelings in modern dating. How do you know who you should be giving more time and investment to? So today we're going to fix that. I'm Liz Rose, human behavior expert, and welcome to the Liz Rose podcast, where we take the confusion out of modern dating, attraction, and building better relationships. Today, I'm giving you 3 signs backed by research that someone is genuinely into you. Not just keeping you warm, but actually into you. And I want you to listen to all 3, because the third one is the one that people completely miss. And it might just be the most important signal of all. Let's get into it. Before we get to the signs, I want to say something that I think will resonate with a lot of you. Most of us were never taught how to read genuine interest. We were taught to chase that feeling, the butterflies, the rush, the hot and the cold. We mistook intensity for interest. But intensity and genuine interest, they're not the same thing. Intensity burns out fast, whereas genuine interest builds over time. And one of the reasons that people stay confused in the early stages of dating is because they're looking for the wrong signals. They're waiting for grand gestures, the constant texting, or someone just to say the words. In the meantime, they're completely missing the quiet, consistent, real signals that actually matter. So what I'm sharing today isn't a checklist. It's a shift in how you read people. Because once you understand these signals, you can stop second-guessing. You can stop overanalyzing the text that they sent you at 11 p.m. You can stop asking your friends, but what do you think they meant? You'll just know. All right, let's go. Sign number 1 is they protect the time they spend with you. Now, this sounds really simple, but I want you to really hear it because there's a nuance here that changes everything. Anyone can make a plan with you that costs nothing. What tells you something real is what they do when keeping that plan becomes inconvenient. Research on what's called investment theory and relationships, developed by psychologist Carol Rusbelt, shows that the more genuinely interested someone is, the more they invest in maintaining that connection. And investment isn't just about money or gifts. It's about the resource that people guard most fiercely, which we know is their time. Someone who is genuinely into you doesn't casually reschedule you. They're not going to put you at the bottom of their priority list. They don't leave your plans vague so they can see if something better comes along. Now, we all know that life happens. People get sick, work gets crazy. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the pattern. The pattern of someone who wants to see you is that they make it happen. They follow through with that. And when something does get in the way, they're the ones reaching out to reschedule. They're not leaving you wondering if they're still interested. The rule here is this: pay attention to who shows up when it's inconvenient, because that tells you everything. Effort when it's easy, that means nothing. Effort when it costs something, that's real. And here's something worth sitting with. If you're always the one initiating, always the one holding the plan together, always the one making it easy for them to show up, that's not connection. That's you doing the work for 2 people. And you deserve someone who does their half. So watch for the follow-through. Watch what happens when life gets in the way. That's sign number 1. Sign number 2 is they remember the small things. This one's backed by some really interesting research. Studies on romantic interest and attentional focus, including the work published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, they consistently show that when someone's genuinely attracted to you and interested in you, their cognitive attention shifts towards you. They pay closer attention, they retain more, they notice the details. In plain language, what that means is when someone likes you, they listen differently because they genuinely can't help it. You have their attention in a way that other people don't. So what does this look like in real life? They remember that you mentioned your sister's wedding is coming up, and they might ask you about it. They remember that you said you were nervous about something at work, and they follow up with you. They clock the thing that you said in passing 2 weeks ago that you'd completely forgotten about. Now, here's the thing I want you to understand about this sign, because I see people dismiss it all the time. People say, oh, that's just a good memory, or they're just being polite. No, there's a difference between being polite and being present. A polite person asks how you are. A genuinely interested person asks how that specific thing went. That thing that you told them about, that thing that mattered to you. And here's what's actually happening. When someone remembers the small things, they're not just storing information. They're showing you that in the middle of their day, their week, their life, you crossed their mind. You were important enough to hold on to. Someone who remembers the small things isn't just paying attention. They're thinking about you when you're not there, and that makes the difference. That's one of the quietest, most real signs of genuine interest. And it's so easy to overlook that. It's not just whether someone texts you back, but whether they're actually in the conversation, whether they're picking up what you put down, whether they remember. That's sign 2. All right, sign 3. This is the one I really want you to pay attention to. They feel closer to you when you're vulnerable with them, not more distant. Let me explain why this is so significant. There's a psychological concept called the vulnerability loop, and it's rooted in decades of research on intimacy and connection. It's been most famously studied by psychologist Arthur Aaron. His research shows that mutual self-disclosure, meaning two people gradually opening up to each other, is one of the most reliable pathways to genuine closeness. But here's the part most people don't talk about. The response to vulnerability is a real test, because opening up to someone is a risk. Every time you share something real, something uncertain, something painful, something that makes you feel exposed, you're essentially handing someone a piece of yourself and waiting to see what they do with it. And what a person does in that moment tells you almost everything about how they feel about you. Think of it like this. Vulnerability is like handing someone something fragile. Someone who doesn't care, they'll put it down. They'll change the subject, make a joke, get uncomfortable, and pull back. And you'll feel it. That subtle shift where you realize, I just opened up and somehow I feel further away from them than I did before. But someone who is genuinely into you, they're going to hold it carefully. They'll lean in. They might share something of their own, and they'll make you feel like opening up was exactly the right thing to do, because the conversation gets deeper, not more awkward. When the right person sees the real you, they don't pull back. They move closer to you. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about dumping your trauma on someone on a second date and seeing if they stick around. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the natural moments of honesty that happen as you're getting to know someone. The moment you say something genuinely true about yourself, your fears, your past, what you want, what you've been through, and you watch what they do next. Do they get closer or do they get quiet and distant? Research by Bni Brown and others in the field of vulnerability consistently show that genuine intimacy cannot be built without risk. You have to let people say something real to find out if the connection is real. There's no shortcut. But what that research also shows is that for someone who's truly interested in you, not just the idea of you, not just that version of you that's always confident and together, your vulnerability doesn't scare them off. It draws them in because they want to know you, actually know you, not that highlight reel of you. And that is one of the most powerful signs of genuine interest that there is. So if you've ever opened up to someone and you felt like they leaned away, that's information, valuable, important information. And if you've opened up to someone and felt them lean in, hold on to that. That doesn't happen with everyone and it's more rare. So let's bring this together. 3 signs that someone's genuinely into you. 1, they protect the time they spend with you. 2, they remember the small things because you cross their mind when you're not there. 3, when you open up, they get closer to you, not quieter and more distant. Now here's what I want to leave you with today, and this is the one I want you to write down or screenshot or send to someone who needs to hear it. You should never have to try and force certainty about someone who makes you feel uncertain. If you're constantly analyzing, second-guessing, reading into things, waiting for answers, that uncertainty is telling you something. It might not be telling you that they're wrong for you, but it is telling you that you don't yet have enough signal. And instead of turning that question inward and asking what's wrong with you, ask the better question. Ask, are they actually showing me enough to go on? Because you're not too sensitive for wanting to know if someone is actually in this. You just deserve someone whose interest in you isn't a complete mystery. That's what I want for every single one of you. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who's in that uncertain place right now, because they need to hear this too.